the real estate deal for the day, honey. I'm gonna have to pay you a little commission.
Hey guys, how's it going? How's it going? How you guys feeling?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Not that nervous yet. I'm just like,
I'm nervous. I don't like to do that. I'm not used to doing that. That's all good. Yes. Good.
it's all good.
So how are you guys enjoying it so far here in the States?
Atlanta's fun.
Good.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. It's a vibrant city, and I can see there's a lot of opportunity here.
Yeah.
So yeah, very different coming from London because of
Okay.
course London. It's also a business city. I guess we've just come from New York, so New York feels like
Right.
it's got a bit more of a, I don't want to say a marriage, but similarity to London.
Okay.
But Atlanta has something different, and I think that is probably what's gravitating towards us more than anything else. Because again, New York is very similar, whereas here, as you guys were saying in the car, it's a very open space,
It
and then
is.
you've got downtown city. But it seems like there's a lot of like innovation and building and like progress that's happening here. It feels like there's a lot more to come from Atlanta.
Yeah.
Right.
Where did you take us to have the when we went to do it for a steak and we drove around that new development? What area was that in?
That's this trip. It was called. It used to be back in the day. It was called Pinewood.
Pinewood.
Yeah.
fair.
You ever heard Pinewood Studios?
Pinewood Studios, yes.
Yes.
That was in London. So that was the part of Pinewood Studios.
Oh,
And
fair.
so then it transitioned to Trillet.
Truly. Yeah.
They changed management and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
So I can see that exactly. And as you said, movie studios are starting to move here as well, and other corporations. So like, what's been the activity in Atlanta that you've noticed that has changed over the last, well, since you've been here actually? How have you seen the city progress and develop?
Yeah, well, we've both been here in Atlanta for quite a while. I think the major shift took place in after the Olympics in '96, what you said.
Fair.
And a lot of people visited obviously for the Olympics and thought it was a very, at that point I think we were only, as a city, I think we might have been 1.2 million people.
Yeah.
And since then it's grown to over 7 million.
Over
people.
7 million. Wow,
Yeah,
that's
in the
impressive.
city, yes.
And your Olympics was in 1996.
1996, yes.
Fair. Because so go ahead.
Yeah, and to me, in my opinion, I think that's when the city really changed and developed, and everybody that came loved it and saw the opportunity.
Yeah.
And yeah, we love it. I mean, as far as black entrepreneurs, that's another reason. Atlanta
absolutely.
is known really for its historical, with civil rights and everything coming from Atlanta.
Absolutely.
A lot of people with some really good, higher learning institutions here in Atlanta.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people saw opportunities coming from the smaller states like, Alabama, Mississippi, come here educated and saw it as an opportunity to
absolutely.
really, we love it, yeah.
That's quite interesting because myself and Prince, we're from London, and do you remember when the Olympics came and how the city's changed? So our Olympics was in 2012. So it was announced, I think it was like 2005 or 2007. It was sometime around then. We were still in like primary school or younger years.
Very young, yeah.
And then the Olympics was announced. It was like a massive
Big thing,
celebration.
yeah.
And then since 2012 up until now, I was even going on like Google Street View and going like back dates.
Yes.
I think from that point, especially onwards, in the last like decade or 12 years, let's say, the city has changed massively. So we've got a population of 10 million.
Wow.
So London's big.
Well,
London's big.
It
So
doesn't, it doesn't appear to be, but it is. Yeah.
So London's big, but again, like I think that the impact of kind of the development that we've seen over London, there's been so much development in terms of residential, commercial. So you can kind of see these are trends that are following quite a lot of cities. But I guess the Olympics is always a good little thing.
Well, it's good, and I think what came out of the Olympics is really still opportunity because prior to that, I mean, compared to most cities, I think Atlanta had one of the most affordable housing systems for for a city of its size.
Yeah, absolutely.
So everybody was like, "Whoa, housing here, you get pretty good house." Back then, the average price of homes were probably like for 100 average and
$999.
well, for the lower end.
On the lower end.
Yeah.
You
But I
can
think back
purchase a
then
nice, decent home.
That's the average. That was the average.
Well,
No,
that
no,
wasn't
the
the
average
average.
would
That
be
was
about-
basically as far as affordability at that time.
Yes.
Individuals were able to get a starter home at the price of $69,999 because I sold quite a few of those homes.
Right.
You know,
And we invested
and that was
ourselves.
a 3-bedroom
nice.
Yeah,
bath.
that's how we started. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now that same home is probably worth about $250 or more.
That's
that
a
same
huge percentage increase.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
it
a
is.
big
Crazy.
increase over
Yes.
time. You
So,
know.
Yes.
so what's the eligibility criteria for? Is it a particular scheme that's called, or when you're buying?
Well, usually as far as affordability, there's a lot of different programs that help individuals get into homes.
Okay, fair.
But the market dictates what the value is.
Absolutely.
Based on how what they as far as after the crash,
Of course.
then houses increased. I
Yeah.
mean, they went down a little bit. Now
Right.
they're increasing. It follows kind of like the stock market, pretty
That
much.
makes sense.
And just to give you some background, when Fleda and I met, we both now we realtors is what we call it. We're both realtors. Her focus is in mortgage finance.
Great.
Mine obviously is in property valuations.
Great.
So one
residential-
stop
Perfect.
shop.
One stop shop. That's what I like to hear.
That's always.
Yes,
What are the names
exactly.
what are the name of your companies?
So I'm with DS Murphy Valuation,
DS
and
Murphy.
she's
Well, the company is Primestar Realty Group,
Yeah,
but
Primestar,
as far
okay.
as mortgages, it's Diamond Residential Mortgage as far as financing.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
yeah. So umbrella is Primestar, Primestar,
Primestar, yeah.
and Mylan Investments is what we is a big
Yeah.
umbrella that we have different.
Fair.
stuff.
So I think neither of you had backgrounds before getting into real estate. Am I correct? Or
We did.
I had a legal
She
background.
did.
Oh, fair legal background.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
what made you transition from? Wait, walk us through that journey. Actually, 'cause that's actually quite
Ah,
interesting. You went from
okay.
legal into real estate. So
Right.
walk us through this.
So I have a paralegal degree.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, so I have a paralegal degree, and so basically I wanted to be a lawyer.
Nice.
So with paperwork and things of that sort. So basically being a corporate lawyer, things. So as I ventured off into financing.
Yeah.
And then because I was actually a paralegal for a law firm for a long time.
Yeah.
And
How long?
I maybe about 3 or 4 years.
Okay, fair, good.
Yeah. So I found that was kind of daunting.
Really?
So I wanted something more. I like to get out in front of people.
Yeah.
Sit behind a desk is just not my thing.
Yeah.
So I started venturing out into different areas of what else I could find,
Okay.
and just ran across a childhood friend
Yeah.
that happened to be in mortgages.
Okay.
And that childhood friend invited me to come work with her and say,
Nice.
hey, you want to try this out? I think you'll be good at this, because you were, pretty good at school,
Yeah.
this, that, and the other. And the first week I took that and was like, wow, this is what I want to do. That was, and from that point, I, branched off into having my own company, just
Okay.
working and just kind of always trying to improve my craft,
Yeah.
So I would say.
And how long has it been now that you've been in the industry?
I've been in the industry for, I would say, 30 years.
Yeah.
Ooh, you guys are veterans.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
You guys are
we're
veterans.
veterans.
So I think that's how I got into it, because when I met her, she was in the business, and actually she started showing properties. I would go with her, but I wasn't licensed to show properties, so I would just drive her around.
Okay.
And I got really concerned about her safety.
Really?
So because the way Atlanta is set up,
Yeah.
the way it is, somebody calls you, you go show them property. And I think one time it broke on the news where one of the real estate, because at that time,
Yeah.
90% of realtors were really beautiful women that would sell homes,
Yeah.
And then so I was like, man, this is not good. And so we thought we started and we strategizing like, well, if I can, get my real estate license, I can do the showing, and then you can kind of sit back, and that way,
Fair.
as a man, I think that it would be probably more
Right,
more
it's a
safe
team.
for us to
Yeah,
do that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I learned a little bit about that. I got my license started off, but also she encouraged me to look into property valuation. I
Nice.
loved it. I went to, got my certification in that.
Good.
It's so funny how things are meant to be.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
You find your niche.
yeah,
100%,
while I'm
100%.
getting my certification, going to classes, I befriended a lady. Her husband
Yeah.
actually was was the president of a bank.
Yeah.
And because of the conflict of interest, she couldn't do him. She referred me to him, and he had about 10 officers that just sent me business off the bat.
Fair.
So yeah, with me loving construction and my background in construction, I just took out with
Fair.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been almost 30 years.
It's been a good journey.
Yeah,
It's interesting. So, because I work in real estate as well. I residential, we call it lettings, which is the rentals department.
Okay.
I work very closely with the sales team, but I actually work primarily in lettings. So I'm in central London, prime central London as well, in an area called Notting Hill. But I also used to work in like areas of Fulham, South Kensington. So again, these are like the highly desirable residential areas of West London.
Okay.
I think when we met in September, we
Yeah.
was around Knightsbridge and Belgravia.
Okay.
So that's like an area of which I used to work in. So next time you come, I'm going to show you
What
some.
about
Right.
London? I think
Definitely.
people talk a lot about. So is you classify Central, East London, West London,
North, South, yeah.
North, South.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's
So
how
that's how you
certain
kind of
areas
distinguish.
referred to. Okay.
Correct, yeah.
So you
and
associate
Prince-
certain things with certain
Correct.
parts of London.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Of course, and myself coming from the commercial background,
Okay.
specifically co-working space. You showed me a few. Was it yesterday or the day before?
Right.
And it's a very diverse. The great thing about it is with the commercial space, it's international. So we have Regis, we have Spaces, IWG, which goes on, very, very well. And that's how me and Lamar met. We
Okay.
began to find our niche, connected onto that level, and that's how Pembridge Media came about.
Okay.
So to hear that you guys have been in the game for 30 years
Yes.
speaks volume,
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's why we're here, to get some wisdom,
Yes.
some knowledge, some
Yes.
information, some guidance on just your years of experience and being together, this
Yes.
partnership, how does this work?
Yeah.
What message would you have for people like us coming into, what would be a good reason for us to come into Atlanta? Why is Atlanta an amazing place?
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say, and I know we touched on this already, just the opportunities for African American. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Most, metropolitan cities you go to, like Atlanta, you can see the classism, certain amount of people control all the wealth. But I think Atlanta is one of the few cities where African American people, especially for black women, I really love to see. I know a lot of black women with businesses that really kind of, here we call it clap, they have clap.
That's what
They
I
go in
tell
a
you.
room and the presence
Yeah, the presence is felt.
they don't
That's
have
what
to
I
take. They don't have to take a back seat. They're black, they're beautiful, and they're very, they got their own stuff going. So for that reason, and they're beautiful.
And they're intelligent.
Just to make sure you drop that in there,
Yeah.
before you get in trouble.
Right.
So just given that, and like I said, I think the opportunities when you get into that for black women, I think Atlanta is one of the few cities where I think you could really make a name just being black, being woman, or just black general. You could really start up a business and really flourish.
And I'm guessing because you guys work in real estate, quite similar to me, you get to meet people from all types of
All
industries.
types, yes.
So I'm guessing I wouldn't say necessarily the most popular, but what are the industries where you see in Atlanta that people, particularly of course of African American or black origin, see success? Because it's also good for other people as well to kind of understand, what Atlanta has to offer, what industries are thriving, or what opportunities there are, if that makes sense.
I would say the medical,
Okay,
and also the legal area, the legal field. They have a really, really big African American Bar Association
Nice.
that is, it's really good. And then
It
also
is,
the, like I said, the medical industry is really a good area.
Good.
The tech, tech.
Yeah,
So we have a lot of thriving business industries,
Yeah.
So there's not one particular one.
Yeah.
It's what you make it. Also in education.
Absolutely.
So
Right.
you would say education, you would think that that's not an area that's thriving,
Absolutely.
but they do a lot of consulting and,
Yeah.
trying to find ways of improving the school systems,
Fair.
So
Okay.
we have a lot of charter schools like we discussed,
Correct.
that actually subsidize like the public schools.
Correct.
So, you want that extra education. That's where higher learning, enrichment.
Nice.
Yeah, and for me, really, I love to eat, so I see even the restaurant
Restaurants
business.
thriving.
Yeah, I introduced you guys
yeah.
to a smoothie place. It's owned by a black woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been there twice.
Oh, you
twice in 48 hours.
Oh, wow.
We're going to go again today because
Yeah.
I love it.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, Smoothie
By a
King.
black woman.
Yeah, Black
The one that
Mountain,
was gonna introduce you to, that's she
Yeah.
owns that one.
She owns that
wow.
one.
Her and
yeah.
her husband owns
Yeah.
it.
Nice.
And then they have the new development right
It's right
across the street.
So they own that too.
Yeah,
Good.
so yeah, and restaurants. I mean, when you go in town, Atlanta and north of Atlanta is really the more affluential part of the city.
Yeah.
And you see, man, restaurants. They have saying that people in Atlanta don't cook. Because everybody eat out all the time.
Yeah.
So they don't
Food's
cook at
good.
home. They don't cook at home.
A lot of
So
breakfast bars.
a lot of breakfast bars. A lot of just eating in general.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's a very lucrative business here in
Yeah.
Atlanta.
Yes.
It used to be during the summer. It's not uncommon for you to wait 2-3 hours to get in a really, really good restaurant to
Really?
get seated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow, that's crazy.
it's very crazy.
Yeah, Atlanta's one of the cities have a little bit for everyone.
Yeah.
If you're into nature, they have Stone Mountain Park and different
Right.
places there.
Oh, nice.
If you're into art,
Yeah.
they have on a
Ooh.
Friday night they turn the art museum out to
Yes.
a DJ opening.
Okay.
On
Fair.
first Fridays. If you're into nature again, like botanical gardens,
Yeah.
Georgia Aquarium, they have learned how to lucratize these places by including events.
Yeah.
So they may have a brunch at the Atlanta
Fair.
Aquarium, or they may have a brunch at the Botanical Garden. You may learn how to do wine tastings there. So they have incorporated, those items into their events.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a lot. In a nutshell, it's a city that's full of opportunities. And for you guys, you can bring something different. Coming from the UK, just kind of look and I really, really am happy you guys are here, so you can get a feel, because there's one thing telling you about somewhere from over the phone, but for you to kind of see and get your feel of what it is.
Grassroots, absolutely.
I'll be on the fruit to see what it is, and I'm excited about what you guys trying to do, because that's something I really don't see a lot of young black guys doing.
Thank you.
So you guys could be originators, or how they call it, like like for something like that.
Trendsetters.
Trendsetters for something like that.
Yeah, you can make this this can be, because the way it's about 400 square feet,
Yeah.
right? So if it's 400 square feet, like
You
Brian
can build
said,
out a flex room.
you can actually, you'll be able to get your, you can put your shoe out here with, because we've done it before in my
Yeah, I've done it
house.
several times.
Yeah, so we can, and you have a door, which is a plus.
Actual
So
door.
you have an actual door, you wouldn't even have to come in, and then you can kind of.
And then should you need a bathroom in there, it will be very easy, because the plumbing is from the kitchen. It'll be easy to run plumbing here and have a bathroom. So, so that space could accommodate another family.
And then you can convert it back if they don't want it, you know what I mean? So you can convert it.
That's what I didn't
Yeah.
want to do, was have them go through so much work to just accommodate us. If maybe like a year is all that I need.
Right.
What is
And there's always options. So like I was, it's kind of the looking at the different ways of what you can do. This is a whole open space where you can do a whole bunch of different things here. Yeah.
And cost-wise, like I said, you will have all the stuff except this, so it's minimum cost-wise. When you think about doing a room, a 400 square foot room, the cost is minimum. To convert it to what you really need to make it to living space. Plus, value-wise, if you convert this to heat and cool space, it's gonna help the value of the property too, so. That's a
And so, and then they still have parking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have parking. And this is a nice, safe neighborhood. You know what I mean? So some of the areas that I was showing her was kind of, she looking more at the house, but I'm also looking at the area. Right. The area people take care of their properties. This is not on the other side. So that's you're close to Fayette County, which we live in Fayette County for the different schools. So they have special need things for other kids as well, and you could probably plug in to some of those different schools that are right there on the edge. You know what I mean? So just check into that as well as far as the school wise. And I know Clay
I'll
County.
tell you, this area of Fleda, in older neighborhood, that's probably the most stable and best for older homes.
Yes.
Everyday price wise. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're much better here than, I know you guys are too over there, but the school system is a little bit different. So you just have, because Clayton County they actually have come and improved. So when you plug into Clayton County, you got to find out which school that you'll be able to have your son go to and still be successful. You know what I mean? So don't just limit yourself to say, oh, this is school I went to, I don't really want to go to this one. There are options for you, especially with the homeschool. They have special needs schools for your for your other son, and then also if you're homeschooling, you're tied into the actual system for Clayton County. And if you look at the reviews, they're actually coming back up, you know, because before they had lost their accreditation, but now the accreditation is up, because I sit on the school board for Clayton County. Yeah, and they're doing some awesome things for the kids, and I mean, they're really in tune with the kids, so look into that as well. So don't live, you know, back in the day it was probably a little different, but just kind of look into it, and I can give you a person's name and just tell them what you're looking for, and they definitely will get you in the right system with your kids. So yeah, but yeah, I just thought that was with the new kitchen, with new things, all these different things, and with this and within this price point, if she was able to go up to like maybe 500, you know, we could probably explore like to Cobb County, because that's where most of the houses are in Smyrna, in that 500-600 price range.
Point I wanted to mention: how has it been traveling together since, you know, you're working together in the same industry, you have the same interest? Do you feel like traveling brings the bond much more closer?
I think so, because Ryan is more of the traveler, pretty much. I mean, as far as, you know, making sure we get to the right places and, you know, explore different places, because I'm not, you know, geography inclined. So so when he brings a different flavor, it's like, hey, let's try this place, let's try that. And it doesn't help that he actually is from the islands, and I've always wanted to go there. So we get to travel different places.
Nice.
Each place brings something different. So yeah, I think that has really been our bond together with the traveling.
Yeah, just to expand on what you said, I think being in Atlanta, the kind of city Atlanta is, you find a lot of cities are probably, you know, like party every night, do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Atlanta is the kind of city where if you want to get into nightlife, you're 30 minutes away from it. You can drive to downtown, but you can also get back, and it feels like the countryside. You know, Atlanta is the center, and then, you know, everybody else lives outside of Atlanta, so you could go party and you know, do everything in Atlanta, but you could revert back and, you know, 30 minutes drive, then you could be in quiet and do what it is. So that kind of living, I think, really sets Atlanta apart from most cities that you see, you know, and
And I've got a key question for both of you. What do you think have been the key elements towards your success, both in your businesses as real estate professionals, but also in your marriage as a family, and you two as well? How what's been the key elements of your success?
You want to answer that?
Yeah, I mean, we both have different personalities, and I think that is really the key to a strong union. She is very emotional. You know, I'm much more laid back.
Yeah.
I'm very laid back. I'm very, you know, I don't really make a big deal about anything. And I think that kind of different personalities kind of make us, so when she gets overhyped, I'm like, okay, just relax, let's think about it. And then what I like about her, she pushes me. She's very driven too. Like, she would, like, if it's something, and I have the tendency to probably like take too long, she would kind of push me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think that combination really helps. Helps us with sex, and we have a lot of really good business values, just life values.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of works both for our private you know, relationship and our business relationship. You know, I'm very big. You know, kind of like you. When I'm professional, you got to be, because I understand the stereotype that exists with black men. So, you know, I try to make my word my bond. You know, not every time, but, you know, I try to, as much as possible, to do what I say I'm going to do. Right. You know, because I think that speaks volumes. So when my advice to anybody, and if with you, especially if you're black, you already understand the hurdles you have. People think you're going to be late. People think that you're going to be underdressed. People think you're going to be, you know, so you break those stereotypes by consistently showing up, doing what you say you're going to do, and be professional. That's it. You know.
And there was a key element we discussed, and it's something that myself and Prince live by, and you guys live by. And this was before we met or spoke, and the fact that we're kind of on the same page in terms of under promising and over delivering. 100%. Setting expectations and exceeding them. Yeah. It's something that's
I'm
very
big on that, you know, because you know the impact it does when you tell somebody you're gonna do something. Like, you know, it happens. You know, I get it all the time, and I do it. I'm very, you know, intentional about doing that, because I do understand they're not used to it.
Yeah.
You know, so it stands out. You know, a lot of times we go out, or sometimes people call. It's like, oh my, you know, this person spoke very highly of you. I don't even know who it is.
Of course.
It may have been a year ago, maybe 6 months ago. I can't remember. I in most cases I do too. But yeah. And it's the same with her too. You know, she goes hard with her clients.
That's what
you know what I mean? I mean, in business like that, sometimes, the return on, you find clients that are challenged.
Of course.
Yes,
we're
and you have to hold their hands. You have to do that because it's sales. They're not ready. They don't understand the process, and she goes all out for them. And sometimes those are the ones that take the most time and financially less rewarding. But those are the ones that may refer you to 6 people, or you have you have clients for life, as opposed to you get a big deal, you get a check, and exactly, and then they don't really appreciate that. So I think that, and I could vouch for her. She goes hard for everybody.
Good. That's what I tell you.
She goes hard.
One thing I've noticed about the both of you, you speak very highly of each other.
Yeah.
And that is one of the key things, that means a lot to a lot of young people look up to those kind of things in marriage and partnership, business and life.
Yeah.
What would you say, does it come natural? Is it something that you've reached to over the last 30 years, or how's it been, the complementing of each other?
I think it's pretty much, for me, I always want to see the good in someone.
Yeah.
Regardless who it is. But even more so if it's my partner, my husband, the person I'm going to, he always say that I share too much. He's never told me no.
Okay.
I like the fact that he trusts me.
Yeah.
It's on big decisions, they always say, oh, you're equal, this, that, and the other. Whatever God wants us to do is what we're going to do. You know what I mean? If he's going to lead on that situation, I'm going to let him lead. If I'm going to lead on it, then I'm going to lead. So it's not, we don't tug a war about roles or anything like that.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of, I just don't think that's not us. Maybe some people, but that's not us.
Yeah,
so if it's something that I'll think about it. I'm a praying woman. I'm always into prayer, so I'm always looking up for the higher power and figuring out, because once I got it, even if he doesn't agree with it, he's like, oh, I'm a truster on it. And it always has been a success. I would say 90% has been successful.
Yeah.
But when you stop communicating, when you're not on the same page and you're not communicating, then that's when is a lot of, turmoil when you're not communicating. So I think communication is one of the biggest things that we had to work on as a couple. So it wasn't always like where we are right now. That communication comes in all types of forms. Did you call? Did you do? What are you doing? Because some people do not want to be accountable. So communication and accountability comes together. You know what I mean? So when there's turmoil, there's no accountability there. You know what I mean? So when you set that foundation and you expand on that, you're going to have a better relationship, regardless of whoever you're dealing with. What's clear? Are you clear about what you're asking me? Right. So, I think that would be one of the things.
For me, the same here, I echo the same. I think to me, just being yourself, really. In holding yourself accountable. If you have somebody to do it, that's fine, but holding yourself accountable. And you guys, you ask about, about a business relationship too. I think the key is, like you said, being honest.
Yeah.
I go by a very simple rule that I treat people like I wouldn't be treated. No, I would never embarrass her, but believe it or not, when we get home, if it's something that I'm not happy about, I'm going to let her know. I'm very honest.
Yeah.
Very, very honest with her. Sometimes people come to us with certain, business ideas or something, or they might want to, loan certain money and stuff, and we talk about it. It's like sometimes she always yes, but sometimes I'm like,
I don't think you're the yes person. I'm not the yes person.
No, in terms of like business.
I'm not the yes person.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like ideas to do stuff. You know what I mean?
Talking about when folks want loan money and all this kind of stuff.
I'm a giving person. I don't care. I don't really.
Pay me back.
Yeah.
So Fleda's a baby. That's the Taurus in you.
So I'm the
If you're gonna borrow money from me, you're gonna pay me back. There's two different ways that you're going. Either you borrow,
she's like that.
or if you want some money. Tell me what the difference is, because if you want the money, I'll let you know what I can afford. But if you want to borrow the money, I'm going to write a contract.
Yeah.
Thank you for the same.
Yeah. So
Taurus. I don't mind. What's your intentions? Because you already know your
money.
right?
I think with my personality, I think the only downside to the way I'm with money is my family. They take advantage of that because they know who I am. If they ask for it, I'll get. I don't care about. I don't care about money.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking, as long as every day, man, I've never prayed for me. I pray for health and strength every day. That's it. Because I know if I have those two things, I can make money.
It's true.
So I don't really value money. Like, you know what I mean? I'm very, very giving guy.
You value money. You don't. It's not like money is not one of your. I wouldn't say money.
I'm responsible.
Yeah, responsible. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't
when you say
like,
you don't value money,
well,
you do value money.
When I say when it comes to my family, if I have it, I'll give it to them. Basically, you know, some people like a brother. He's tired.
Exactly.
You know?
You can't take it out.
Yeah, but you know, so we make fun of that.
We're both giving people. I would give you the shirt off my back, and he always, my family, I'll give you everything. I have cousins and things like that I give to, and he's just like, I don't agree with that one, but sometimes, you know, it's like, hey,
not with
this
money,
is
you know, you don't give money like you want to.
The great thing about what both of you are demonstrating is you're both quite opposite, but there is the same value there.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
so Fleda's more of the direct,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
analyst and writing, whereas
Yes.
you're exactly like me, you know, more compassion and you think with your heart. So that balance it makes sense, whether that's in a marriage, even in a partnership. Myself and Lamar, I would say Lamar's like Fleda.
Literally. Yeah, exactly. It's true. I mean, I see that, you know what I mean? I met him one time, I had never met you, and he said you guys gonna come here, but I'm just amazed how much, I'm really drawn to you, and Lamar, obviously, you know how much I love him, so, you know what I mean? Yeah. Probably because he look like Fleda, you know, probably because he's like Fleda, like him, so, I mean, it just, and I think that really helps, we just different and we complement each other. Yeah. But in business relationship, whatever, it have to be, honesty, I think, brutal honesty, just communication and stuff.
Some people
like
complicate the whole marriage thing, they complicate it by rules and regulations and all these different things. What works for you may not work for me. What works for him may not work for me.
Right.
You have your standards of what your non-negotiables, of things that you're not going to tolerate.
A really good question for you guys. What are some of your proudest moments?
Oh.
Both in business and in marriage.
Okay, so when I think when we got married, when we actually had a wedding, then it was like, did I cry? I think I cried. I did cry. And then I said, something is in my eye. He was like, you crying? I was like, yeah. So I think that, and also, the birth of our kids were like some of our proudest moments. Actually, when we bought our first home together, that was our
we were 25.
Yeah, 26.
26.
Yeah, we bought our first home together, and in business, being able to get those large clients, you know what I mean, those $1 million clients that trust you.
Yes.
You're like, we did that one time. It always happens when you're out of town.
Right.
You're out of town, you did this $1 million deal, and I was on that. I was okay, just figuring out how to work that out.
A long time ago, you guys heard of a comedian? You might be too young for that, but Joe Torre is his name.
Oh yeah,
and but he was a very popular thing in the '90s. A very popular comedian, big in Atlanta, and he's actually from Ohio. And
I had helped him with his loan and his
purchasing a home and stuff.
And I was like, if I can do this, I can do this for a very long time. So he trusted me to be able to do his financing and his real estate for him, for Joe Torre.
Really good.
That was so many.
It's a proud moment, for me, my personality, I'm not really like a show-off guy and stuff, I do, like when we met, that was good because I think it was more than just, you meet a girl, you shoot your shot and stuff. I think for our coming together, I think it was very spiritual too, what I mean? Because, so that was a highlight moment to really pray, to settle on the edge. Before I met her, I was just, running around playing. When I prayed to settle down, I met her, I got the right moment. So I think I was very proud and appreciative of that. And you'll see that, set goals, you know what I mean? And then to reach that goal, and I've excelled at everything I do. I mean, prior to really doing the valuation, or when the market shifted to, I took another job that I'd never done before and learned it and for the next year, I became like the
Top.
tech of the year, the top. Where we went to meet the president of the company and stuff.
Nice.
So work ethic has always been, you know.
Even in real estate, we were like
Yeah.
the top realtors of the companies that we were
That we
working
work
for.
with all the time.
So
Yeah.
every time we were at the top,
Yeah.
it's like we wasn't even, it wasn't like a competition for us.
Yeah.
So I'm very competitive, but I'm not competitive against people.
Cool.
If that
Yeah.
makes, I'm competitive within myself.
Self, yeah.
Yeah, so if I'm not looking at you, I'm looking at what I can do. What's the most that I can actually
Right.
do?
Yeah.
To be better than yesterday.
Yeah, to get
Absolutely.
better than yesterday. So I wake up with that. How can I get better than yesterday? What can I do? What was my, you know, and even in business, if it's something going on and I didn't do it correctly, that it's like, why didn't I get that right?
Yeah.
So I'll go back and research it. So the next time, because I think time is money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if I spend too much time on something and I didn't do it correctly,
Yeah.
I have to go back and just keep doing that.
Yeah.
Another proud moment is when we actually start buying investment properties and
Nice.
seeing those
The returns,
the
yeah.
returns,
Mhm.
and also being able to have several properties
Yeah.
and also being able to give back. Like, you know, I bought people cars, I
Yeah.
bought my stepfather a truck, you know,
Nice.
just cash
Mhm.
money, just
Yeah.
being able to use the funds that I have to share with my family.
Yeah.
That's
And
what I'm
understanding wealth too, because we didn't grow up with mentors like our
Absolutely.
parents teaching us about, you know, money, and that's the cycle that we want to break as far as our kids, to teach them about you know generational wealth.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I think that's very important, especially for Black families.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So so everything we do, moves we make, we're very conscious of what we're doing to be able to do that as well too. And but yeah, so as far as you guys, man, I'm very excited to be so young, to see you guys so young and breaking
Thank
into
you.
something that's, you know, not very common. And but I would just advise, man, you know, just trust each other, you know, push each other, and then you know, trust each other to do it, and
Absolutely.
don't be afraid to agree to disagree. You know what I mean? And yeah,
We have-
I'm
we
not
have-
pretty sure.
We do that.
Yeah,
We have. We have.
exactly.
But
Yeah.
for a good result. in the
Yeah,
end,
but the
in
good
end.
thing is if you share a common goal, man, I think, you know, you might have a way of getting there, he might have a way of getting there, but ultimately,
You're gonna get
yeah,
there.
you can get there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, so yeah.
One of the things that you guys have perfectly explained is learning how to work with each other as far as it goes with agreements. So, you know, pushing one another. So I realized, you know, my strength is I'm very compassionate, I'm a people's person, I'm quite laid back.
Yeah.
Whereas Lamar's more of
Yeah.
a
He's a pretty boy, he like the camera.
Exactly. So there might be areas where we might need more of Lamar's approach towards, you know, meeting with a client or a potential, and there might be other areas where we might need to go through my approach, where it's, you know, just understand the people we're around, build that relationship, which is ideally what we had when we came here. You know, this is our first time in Atlanta, and you have welcomed us with open arms into your lovely home, which we really do appreciate, and we constantly speak about this. So a question that I have for the both of you is, you know, as times has changed from the 90s up until now, a lot of our generation wants quick success, you know, as far as it goes with investments and creating a business. They have this mentality of, if I build today, I want to be a millionaire tomorrow in the next 24 hours. What would you have to say to that realistically?
Realistically, and as much as I love Atlanta, even like when I go back home to Dominica, I always even miss Atlanta, because to me, I became a man in Atlanta, you know. One of the downfalls about Atlanta, I think, is there's a lot of people that focus too much on material wealth. You know what I mean? And don't really look at the true wealth is about, you know, being able to have something to live for generations or legacy. You know, they're very flashy with the cars and the this and the that. So you see a lot of that. And also too, that's kind of a perception a lot of people outside of Atlanta have, you know, but there are really some wealthy people in Atlanta, but there's a lot that, you know, perpetrate and stuff like that. As far as this new generation, I mean, I don't think it's an Atlanta thing only. You know, I think it's just a whole Gen Z generation.
Social media's changed.
They want social media change. They want it now. Atlanta has, especially the music industry. I mean, we have tons of celebrities or people that really made it from nothing in Atlanta. I mean, you see time and time again. I mean, CeeLo, you know, Andre 3000, all those guys from Atlanta, Ludacris, and you know, Usher, and all them, you know, all the rap guys from Atlanta. So they see that and they try to emulate that, and they want it now. But I always say, to anybody, there is no substitute for the work.
Yeah.
You have to do it. You know what I mean? Your vision is new, it's fresh, it's different. You have to put in the work. You know, and you may, not see all of it or get frustrated, but don't give up, man. Don't give up. You're gonna do it. But I think that's what it is. With these days is you have, and with everything you have to plan. You have to plan. You have to plan, and then you got to work the plan.
Yeah.
That's it.
Have there ever been moments when you guys wanted to give up?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because it gets.
I gotta get this one because with us being in the same industry,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, between 2000, I don't think life has ever been harder for me between 2009 to 2011.
Okay.
Because we were like, what in the world is going on? Nobody's buying a house. Nobody's doing things. Everybody's losing their house. We just made this massive investment in our home.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my God, are we just going to lose all this money that we put into this thing? And so that was a low for us. But again, she's been tough and been, just really, trying to get on the phone with this lenders like, look, we don't want to lose this. And, if you modify and stuff, then we will keep it, and that's what she did, and we were able to do that. But it got really bad. A lot of investment properties, people wasn't. It's just like inventory was just like crazy.
If you had money back then, you would be totally wealthy right now because they were selling properties for $30,000-$40,000, and they were worth.
They were,
$300,000 and $400,000. So they were,
Our neighborhood, for example.
Oh, our neighborhood.
They stopped building, and then there were a couple of deals that people started to build, foreclosed and left it, and people picked it up for $200,000.
Yeah.
We're talking about $1 million properties.
Yes.
They pick up for 200. Yes, it was dire, man. It was dire, and I was very scared. And you know what we did? We got on our knees, man, and we just prayed. Lord,
the kids got involved. We all prayed because you used to custom up a certain, and then also you have to be realistic about what you have. I think that's where that communication was not working properly.
Fair.
Because I thought he had something, he thought I had. We thought we were,
we were not organized. We had money coming in, and we just do stuff.
You just doing stuff.
You do your stuff. I do my stuff. Before we know it, it's like, oh my God,
Yeah, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
So we have to really come together and be organized and keep it. That's why I say simplify it. A lot of times, they say, oh, you got your stuff, I got my stuff, and, so why do you get married? It's like, can we work this thing out?
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's kind of how we have to just kind of play off each other and come up with a strategy and stay there, and also now what we try to tell people is, as far as when you're out to get rich quick, there's no there's no because there's a lot of Ponzi schemes, there's a lot of network marketing. You have to bring someone in. You got to bring, so you'll make a little money, a little bit. But at the end of the day, do you have an established business?
Yeah.
Do you have something that's viable? Do you have something that you can sell, or can you pass it along to someone else? If you can't pass it along to someone else, then it's not a viable business. You know what I mean? So even with real estate, you say, how can you pass it on? You can pass on your traits. You can pass on your knowledge. With if you have a portfolio, if you bring someone else in, they trust you, so they're going to trust them. You know what I mean? So you have that type of business. I'm approached daily with different things on how to do it. I'm like, well, if I put more into my own business, I'll make just as much. I may get there a little bit, further along. Yeah. But I'd rather have long success than short success. Because you spend all your short success. All your things are materialistic. You're wearing it on yourself. You got to put some things aside. Put whatever money you make in the beginning. Even if it's a get rich quick scheme that you actually are participating in, put some money away. Put a part of your money away, and then if you're investing it, then that's fine.
Make more money, spend less, invest the rest.
Yes.
Absolutely. Invest the difference.
That's the difference. So it's no quick, because a lot of these TikTokers are making $10,000-$20,000. But you have to realize Uncle Sam wants a piece of that. It's not going to sustain. So you get into deeper holes. Even the millionaires are, like different artists and
Yeah.
actors, they
Yeah,
they don't
trouble.
pay their trouble,
Oh,
because they
it's-
spent all of their money.
Yeah, the same thing in the
Yeah.
UK. So in the UK, ours is called HMRC, which stands for either his or her, depending on who the monarch is. Majesty's Revenue and Customs. Exact same as the IRS. Is
Oh, okay.
taxman or taxwoman, or as you guys call it, Uncle Sam, we call
Yeah.
it taxman.
Okay.
Go pay your taxes.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah,
say
yeah,
taxes.
exactly.
They always say,
Wow.
joke and say, it's two things that's guaranteed: death and taxes.
Taxes.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know,
Always.
yeah.
Those-
And even when you die, there's taxes to be paid as well,
Yeah.
depending on your estate.
Right.
So another advice I'll give to you guys too is just trust each other too, and don't underestimate, your talents and stuff that you have, because you have value, you bring value to something. Like for me, when I get a real estate client, it's easy. I can bring valuation as my value proposition to that deal. It's like, well, yeah, I can tell you everybody, but I know more than the typical agent because I can tell you that aspect of it,
Right.
So with you, you guys being so diverse and talented with music and different stuff and what you want to do, don't underestimate that. That's your value proposition that you can bring to the table when you look at a project or do some stuff like that. The way you guys handle this stuff. I mean, I'm accustomed of taking a picture and then the way you just gave me a whole different perspective. It's like, man, this thing looks so good and clear and cinematic. So yeah, I mean, just talents like this.
Right.
I'm not very tech savvy. I'm a certain age. You know what I mean? So I'm not, I don't like it, but you guys have the opportunity at your age to really do stuff like that in that tech space and really use that as an advantage, to you guys. So yeah, that's cool.
And with your knowledge and expertise, your wisdom and guidance as well, don't ever leave that out, because that speaks volume.
Yes.
A lot of us
I appreciate that,
young people are misguided.
Yeah.
They don't have mentorship or parents with this level of information, which can misguide them in the wrong direction.
Right.
So, the knowledge on financial literacy, knowledge on life,
That's key.
partnership in business,
That's key.
marriage, we take these things really seriously.
It is.
These are the tools to success.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
So we value everything you guys have done, and
Appreciate
just
that.
thank you so much.
All right.
Right.
Thank
Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate
Better
it.
than I thought. Thank you so much.
Really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
No worries.
It was great.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can I get this out?